So I think for me, curfew has got, well, it's got different meanings. So it's got a personal meaning as well as an artistic meaning. And I think, first of all, it is about a partnership. And I think personally, it's not, it's basically a journey. I think curfew is really a journey for me. And it is about, like, again, as I was saying earlier in the previous conversation, it's about like the international elements, the ability of being cross borders and across cultures, really, because like as Hawiyya, we're cross-cultural and diverse group, and this collaboration, this partnership is very much the opportunity to learn from international friends. So for me personally, it's a journey, and it's almost like an international family, and it's something that has progressed, and it started as a small ambitious projects to all the way, you know, how we got here and actually shared our message with many people. And I think for me, the most amazing thing about this project and the collaboration is the connection. I think the connection that we got, and the opportunity to grow. So I think personally as well, it was very much like the opportunity to personally grow and to develop an understanding of not just of the situation, not just of what, you know, reaction to news and you know how people really engage socially by looking at various contexts, but it's also the opportunity to grow artistically and obviously learning from such an experienced group and experienced dancers. And then also artistically, I think Curfew very much is a wake-up call, because I think the message of it is what makes me particularly proud, I think, in the sense that I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, like, obviously we're not talking about anything majorly different, but I think the fact that we're really trying to bring people to ask themselves this existential question and really think about, like, what are you doing about injustice? What are you doing about inequality? What are you doing about your own life? Why are you, you know, why are you self-centered? I think is very much this message of, like, as a wake-up call to be less self-centered and start thinking about the world. And was, you know, using Dabke and started from Dabke and as groups, like, linked back to Palestine. And whilst a lot of the situation and the scenarios in the context is very much linked to Palestine, I think the very important thing is that we're talking beyond Palestine, we're really talking about, like, injustices globally. And we're really talking about the opportunity as a single person, as an individual, to change their behavior a little bit, to change the way they act, to the way they interact with other people, the way they look at the world, and the way they perceive the world. And I think this is really what Curfew means to me. So it's very much like a journey of personal growth, as well as the feeling of being able to just tell people, just wake up and do something, because you can. Really, you can. Maybe you're not going to be able to shape politics, and you're not going to be able to maybe, like, change governments, but as an individual, there are so many things you can do. And I think we're doing it pretty well. I think our message has been taken in many times already. So we've done the 3 performances already. I think the feedback we got was really positive. I'm so excited to be able to do it again, and I'm sure we're going to have completely different feedback, and it's going to, I think it's going to build up new opportunities, because I see Curfew becoming, like, really like a bigger opportunity. I think, yeah, I think we're going to be able to do more with this.
Yeah, I think, like, with all the troubles in the world at the moment, and especially, like, all these, like you were saying, we can't change the politics, and we are in a crucial time in which we have some crazy leaders in the world. And so I think it's really important that the arts engage with political ideas, and active, that people are going to the theatre to be active in their thoughts and ideas, and also how they can leave the theatre and take action on what we're facing in the world right now. And for me, that feels like it feels that we are achieving this in Curfew, that we are creating art that questions, of course, the subjects that we're talking about, but as a whole, I really want the audience to be leaving and thinking, what actions can I do? And I think that's so important. Me, I was making art before this, dance that was dance for dance sake, to be honest. And I think that is reflective of the time that we're in. I can no longer just make art for art's sake and dance just for the sake of dancing. For me, it has to have a message. It has to be able to translate into something that changes the world for the better.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, Sylvia. I remember back in the very, very early days, I think Sylvia, Yumi, Jamila were in the El-Funoun office with Sharaf. And I remember talking about, I think it was a conversation about news, and Sharaf was saying about how the news was like, so it impacted your daily lives so much. You'd listen to the radio to see what's happening at the checkpoints. It would be directly about the kind of life that you were living. Whereas a number of us in the West, our experience of the news is very much, oh, it's something out there, and it's somehow more disconnected from our daily life. I think it's interesting, especially in the current context with coronavirus, actually no one can escape the news. The news is impacting all of our lives in a very, very direct way at the moment. And it's interesting how communities are reacting and people are engaging in different ways. We have this app like that a lot of people are on, I guess it's global, I don't know if it's just UK, called Nextdoor. And loads of people are posting like for basically their next door neighbors, like, what do you need? How can I help? What can I do? And it's that very question, like, what can I do? And I think people are asking it so much more because, you know, the news is kind of impacting their daily lives. So I think it'll be really interesting, Jamila, as you're talking about, like, as you do the show again, and people's responses to it, like, actually we're in a kind of world context now where people need to be more engaged, people need to be involved in their communities. We're facing this worldwide issue at the moment. We're connected in a completely different way. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see people's responses in the future.
Yeah, beautiful reflections. I'm aware I'm talking a lot, but you do really evoke thinking and ideas, and such a beautiful conversation. And this whole community response to crisis, according to who is impacted by it, is quite interesting. And of course, the way news is framed, and how, like, people can be desensitized to news, and all the power structures that are shaping how we react to things, and how our empathy is directed, and with whom do we sympathize. And Curfew, although I was quite distant from the project, but it was such a beautiful and meaningful like production, and I remember like feeling so like almost like a revolution inside me watching that performance. You guys like made the cry out very, very beautifully on behalf of not just Palestinians, but anybody who's experiencing oppression in its extreme alone. And those people shouldn't be, whoever they are, they shouldn't be experiencing any form of oppression on their own. Like, we are connected, and this pandemic is saying to us how connected we are, and we cannot have a tunnel vision in today's world, especially, and the chain of connectedness is so powerful between us, despite our despite all the walls that are being erected and the borders that are being hardened and everything. Like, despite everything, we are connected and we do impact each other, and it is easier. I understand it is easier to cope with life if we have a tunnel vision, but this tunnel vision is going to save you, probably is going to make you cope with the situation today, tomorrow, the day after, but eventually you're gonna be the Palestinian. Like, if you're safe now, tomorrow you might not be safe. At one point in history, it was the Jews, it was the Gypsies, it was the I don't know, whoever, and then it was Palestinians, and then it was Muslims, and there will always be somebody who's singled out. There will always be somebody who's facing oppression, and if you think you're safe now, you might not be tomorrow, and that's how connected we are. So, and that's how like really the solidarity and this action of empathy is like so important for our collective survival.
Cool. I would like also to listen from Khaled.
بدي احكي ببلش موضوع عرض كيرفيو بشكل عام، كيف بلشنا فيه واحنا في رام الله، وكيف مشاركناه مع هوية من اول ما كانت فكرة كبيرة لحد ما بلشنا نصغر فيها وصارت هي اكثر تخص يعني هي بلد فلسطين اكثر، يعني لو تيجي فيها تطلع عليها. كيف بلشت الفكرة؟ بلشت من موضوع كبير، يعني بلشنا كيف العالم كله ممنوع يتجول، بلشنا كيف اي ثوره بتصير كيف بصير ممنوع تتجول، على صعيد حرب كيف ممكن تتجول، ممنوع تتجول. على بعدين بلشنا نصغر فيها لحد ما صارت كيف ممكن ممنوع تتجول اللي هي ممكن يكون فلسطين او اي دوله تحت احتلال او تحت اي حرب. وشفنا فيها كيف موضوع الفلاحين كمان فيها، وموضوع الدبكه في ممنوع تجول والاعراس والاحزان كله كيف بيكون مع بعض. وبعدين لما كان عشان بالنسبه لي كانت اول تجربه عمل مشترك بين فرقه ثانيه اللي هي هويه، كان صعب معي لانه كان لازم تفكر كثير كل يوم على كيف بدك من الموضوع كبير، كيف بدك تصغره ليصير تعمل عرض لمده نص ساعه، يعني هذا كان شيء كثير صعب. بعدين لما بلشنا نصغر فيه كان العمل شوي مرهق علينا، انه كان صعب التواصل كثير دائما مع الفرقه اللي في لندن، لانه كان دائما كله الكتروني اكثر. يعني انت لما تعمل حركه لما تفصيلها راح يكون صعب لما تحضر على الفيديو، كيف لما تاخذها في القاعه نفسها. وهذا كان برضه غلب علينا لما وصلنا هناك، كان غلب على الكل لما وصلنا هناك. كان معنا بس 10-11 يوم، كان معنا بس اللي احنا نطلع في عرض مده كان اول ما بلشنا فيه كان 45 دقيقه ل 50 دقيقه، بعدين خلصناه. بس كان الموضوع متعب لانه احنا كنا نشتغل من 7 ل 9 ساعات في اليوم او توصل 10 مرات بدون دوبك تروح ترتاح وترجع ثاني يوم، يعني صعيد جسديا ولا في المخ كان كله مرهق. بس يعني كان يعني الوضع يعني كان ماشي منيح، بس لما كان لو معنا اكثر كان يصير الموضوع غاب اكثر. طبعا لما اجوا عندنا على رام الله كان الموضوع اسهل، لان احنا كلنا عندنا خلفيه صارت في الحركات وعندنا كلنا خلفيه في الفكره، فكان تركيبه في خلال اسبوع او اسبوعين كان تركيبه اسرع. طبعا خلصنا له نص ساعه بدل 45 دقيقه عشان توصل الفكره اكثر.
I just want to speak about my experience as a member in Curfew from the Palestinian side. For me, it was an exceptional experience. Of course, we Palestinians take every chance and opportunity to be heard in the world and to deliver our message. And what was beautiful about this show that we did not like hit the audience directly. No, as you all said, we were questioning them. Where are you from? All what's happening, and that was very powerful in the show. And the most beautiful thing was that we are from different origins, different countries, different backgrounds, and yet we all agreed on the same points, on the same ideas. We shared the same way of thinking to build this performance, and the feedback was amazing. In London, in Palestine also, and I'm really looking forward to spread this work and collaboration in all the world, inshallah.